Okay, let's have a conversation. The Detroit Lions are 3-1. They've had a lot of success, and a huge, I mean, huge part of that success has been this rookie class. And it's been a very unique rookie class, if I had to say so myself. I think it's almost an inverted excitement. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Before we get into that, please go ahead, subscribe to this video, like the channel, leave a comment. I want to know right now, before I even get started on this, who do you think is the best Detroit Lions rookie so far this year and why? I think it's probably a two-man race, but hey, maybe you could surprise us and share with something else. So, Fan Nation went to this SI.com, started talking about it a little bit. So, I want to talk about it with all of you. So, they start with Jahmyr Gibbs. They talk about how he's yet to emerge as a complementary piece in Detroit, more than a complimentary piece. Sorry. He's had 39 carries, 4.6 yards per carry, which, by the way, is better than David Montgomery. He's at 180 yards. When he had one game all to himself, by the way, he got 17 carries for 80 yards. I thought he was pretty darn good. So lack of carries, all that kind of stuff, they are giving him a grade of a B. All right. Do you agree with that? I'm going to be honest with you. I'd give him a B minus, and I don't know if it's on him. I don't know if it's on the staff putting him in certain positions. I don't know if it's on the old line. Here's what I do know: he's got a couple drops. I feel like if I were rating him as just a runner, it would be a B plus. And I think like his running has actually been better than I thought it would be. But well, maybe not better, but as good as I thought it would be. As a pass catcher out of the backfield, I'm not there yet. And clearly the staff's not there either because they aren't throwing him the ball very much. So they must not think it as well. All right, then we got to move on to the next guy that we're here talking about, which is linebacker Jack Campbell. And here's the truth. It's harder to watch defense. I think we all know that. And it's definitely harder to watch one player on defense. But when you watch Campbell, he's honestly usually doing a pretty good job. This article relies pretty heavily on PFF, talks about his great run PFF grade. It also talks about how he had the lowest PFF grade against the Packers. But here's the thing about Campbell. He is in with some really good linebackers. There are four very capable linebackers, and I don't think anybody thought that was going to be the case. Barnes has been balling out. You know that Rodrigo is going to be playing good. I think, honestly, Anzalone has, until the Packers game, was probably our worst linebacker, but you just gave him a 3-year deal, so you're not going to just not play Anzalone. So I don't think Campbell's been bad. In this, they give him an overall grade of a C. I would give him a B, and I think some of it is just lack of the ability to play too much. Now, the next two players that we're going to talk about, I think, are in the running for the best player. And this article is saying that they think while second-round pick Brian Branch has been very productive, Laporta has been undeniably Detroit's best rookie performer so far this year. Now, I'm just going to give you some of the stats I know. He has 22 catches. That is more than any tight end in the first 4 games, and not in Detroit Lions history. If I'm not wrong here, NFL history. The tight end position, maybe behind quarterback, maybe not behind quarterback, is a ridiculously hard position. Fantasy football is not real football. I like fantasy football, but there's still truth that only, I think, 3 or 4 tight ends in history have broken a top tight end in fantasy football in rankings. And that's because a tight end is a complex, difficult position to play. You have to be a wide receiver, and you have to be an offensive lineman at times, and you have to be a fullback at times. Like, there are so many things you have to do as a tight end and reads that you have to make. And you're doing most of it over the middle of the field. So it's in a very, very important place. He is really, really good. Those 22 catches are for 242 yards. He is on pace for almost 1,000 yards receiving, which is just insanity for an NFL rookie tight end. Much like just a tight end in general, 1,000 yards is phenomenal. That's the benchmark for a running back and a wide receiver. For a tight end, are you kidding me? Unless you're Kelsey, that's really, really good. So naturally, as you could imagine, they are giving him the grade of an A right here. Okay. So I give him an A as well. If I could give A pluses, I can. This is my show. Come on. All right. A plus. I'm going to give him an A plus because honest to goodness, he has been phenomenal. He's had a couple drops, but he's had just as many, if not more, remarkable catches. I expect as he continues in his career that the remarkable catches will continue, the drops will go down, and his yak yards will continue. All right. So here's the second one. If it weren't for Laporta, Branch would surely receive recognition as the best player from Detroit's 23 draft class. Brian Branch right now, I think has a chance to win like a sneaky pick for defensive player of the year. I really do believe that if he can stay healthy, if he can stay on the field, I believe he has a chance at it. There's nothing this guy can't do. He will probably lead all rookies in tackles at this rate. I'm sure there's going to be a linebacker or something that gets ahead of him, but like he is a tackling machine at this point. Some for loss. He has 4 passes defensed. He has an interception. That interception was a pick 6. I mean, you put him on anyone. You put him on a tight end. You put him on a wide receiver. You put him. It doesn't matter what type of wide receiver. It doesn't matter what type of tight end. It doesn't matter who's running the ball. He is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So those are the 4 big names. But when I said earlier in the video that it's kind of like an inverse type of thing, what I meant by that was the players are playing best to worst almost from the opposite of how they were drafted in the first 2 rounds. So you have your last pick in the 4, which is Brian Branch, who might be playing the best. And then in the second round, you also got Sam Laporta. And then your 2 first-round picks, Campbell and Gibbs, aren't getting as much run. I mean, Laporta and Branch are out there every stinking play. Campbell and Gibbs are out there 35% of the time, something like that. And I understand that there's just more competition at those spots. Like that's fair. You're allowed to say that. But at the same time, Brian Branch was so good that they switched CJ Gardner-Johnson's position from what they originally had planned for him. He is that good and was that good. Laporta has tight ends that are proven that they are not horrible players in this league that were ahead of him that he had to get over, and he did it right away. And he's just special. So who do you think is the best rookie? Some of the names that we haven't mentioned, Hendon Hooker. Come on, you can't say that. Excited to see what he will become. I am. Broderick Martin, he's been a healthy scratch every single game. Colby Sorsdahl, loved that he was able to come in and take snaps and fill in at tackle. It really does make me believe that there is a future for him as a guard on this team. I really, really do believe that to be true. He's just not ready to play tackle yet. Antoine Green, we've seen him on the field a couple times, but hasn't really had a chance to prove anything. But also the wide receivers have been bad. So that tells you something too. And by the wide receivers, don't get mad at me. When I say the wide receivers have been bad, I mean Marvin Jones Jr. has been bad. And he's been on the field quite a bit. And he's been on the field more than Antoine Green. So if Antoine Green hasn't been able to get past Marvin Jones Jr. on the depth chart, we'll see what happens. I am interested though, and I haven't heard this yet at the time of filming this. If whose roster spot Jameson Williams is going to take, and I think that it will just be someone who is injured, so it'll be fine. But I'm very interested to see if he has to take a spot of a wide receiver, who he takes. So, anyways, there you go. Which Lions rookie is the best so far? Leave a comment, like the video, and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.